Alright, and we're live. Welcome everyone. This podcast is in alpha, and maybe subject to change. Joining me today, we have just Tef.
Hello, just me.
Hello. Just Tef
Only
today.
me. Be a shit podcast.
Yeah, it's another two-man podcast, because Ziff had to dip out, and then Zol, you never know with Zol. You know, sometimes he's around, sometimes he's not. But hey, that's the way it goes. So, today's podcast might be kind of short. I don't know. We always say that, but you know,
It never ends. Yeah, never ends up like that.
it always ends
Really
up
are
going all the
winging
time. Yeah, it's gonna be a bit of a wing today. But yeah,
Bit of a wing.
Bit of a wing. You
Just
know,
one wing.
only one. All right, so I'm sorry, I just got very distracted by you going.
Yeah, don't.
Just very happily.
It's fine. Don't acknowledge it. It's fine. Move on.
Okay, yeah, that's fine. Okay, well, what have you been playing this week, Tef?
Oh wow, it's bad that Ziff's not here because he's fucking playing it right now instead of doing the podcast. But I've been playing
Typical.
Castlevania Dawn of Sorrow because
Dawn
we
of
spoke
Sorrow, you
about it
say?
on the last podcast. Dawn of Sorrow, you say?
Well, let me tell you about Dawn of Sorrow.
Oh, I think you know a lot more about it than I do, my friend.
Well, it's been a
I
while
think
since
we
I
just
played.
mentioned it in like passing, didn't we? It was
Yeah.
I don't even remember like what we were talking about, but it came up in passing, and then I was like, "Oh yeah, I should play that again." And me and Ziff went away and played it because we still have DSs and you don't. Haha. And
I don't
so
know
good.
is.
It's just Symphony of the Night, but better. What's not to like? It's such a good game.
Dawn of Sorrow is so good. Like the music in the game as well. It's like,
Oh, music's to die for, man. It's so
Castlevania-
energetic and catchy.
yeah. Castlevania games always have like top-notch music. It's always very well done. But yeah, what's been your experience so far? How you feeling with Dawn of Sorrow? Tell me more. I just want to talk about Dawn of Sorrow.
Yeah, no, that's good. We can do that. We can definitely do that. It's cool because I've not played it properly since probably like it's probably been 10 years since I really played it. Because when it first came out, you and Ziff were really into it, weren't we? And you especially. I've never actually finished it, but I know you've played it through multiple times.
Multiple times, 100%. Done Julius mode
multiple character
several
run-throughs,
times.
yeah. But so yeah, it's cool because it's not quite how I remember it actually. Like the RPG elements aren't as big as I thought. Like I remember there being more of a gear treadmill in this game, and there's just really not. Like you can pretty much pick up a weapon at the start of the game, and it'll carry you for a good chunk of the game. I thought
you do have to like swap
gear,
out.
but
You do have to swap out armor and like weapons.
I mean
it's-
armor, but weapons isn't as common as I thought it would be. Like you do have to occasionally upgrade to a more powerful one, but you can stick with a weapon for a long time. I was quite surprised. It's
Yeah,
not
you
quite as
can get by.
RPG-ish as I expected.
there is some really cool stuff. Like I was telling Zeph about this, but at the very beginning of the game, there's a secret monster. Now,
Oh, is this the Yeti?
yeah, so it's like it's Bigfoot or a Yeti or something that's walking in the background. That you can see when you're in the Lost Village, in the trees. Yeah. So you can actually fight that. So
How'd you do that?
what you got to do is, I think it's in the Demon Guest House, which you're about to go into. There's there's like a butler skeleton that is one of his abilities, just to like throw out curries. So when you get his soul, you get to throw out a curry, and you go back to the start. You throw out a curry, and then the Yeti jumps out and tries to eat it, and then you just murder him. It's good.
Oh my god, that's amazing. I need to do that. I didn't know that. I was going to ask you what the newspapers serve though, because they give you really cryptic hints, don't they? The newspapers that you can buy from the shop, and the first newspaper says that there's a Yeti in the village.
Yeah, so that's what it's hinting at, and
Oh, it's really cool. I like that.
there are other monsters that they hint at later on, which I'm trying to think of an example of one. No, I think there's Mothman. Mothman's one of them that you can summon. I forget how you summon him. You need to use a lightning spell on a light or something. Something like that. But yeah, it's
That's cool.
there's some really cool stuff like that. But yeah, I need to replay that game myself. It is so good.
I love games like that just have all this secret little things that like you can totally miss, and it's just there for the fun of you discovering it, and that's just need more games like that these days, man. Although actually, I was playing a bit of Hollow Knight as well. I wanted to give that another go since I was already
Mm.
playing a Metroidvania, and I think I enjoyed it a little bit more. I don't know if have you ever played Hollow Knight?
I've watched it. I feel like I wouldn't enjoy it as much as Castlevania, personally.
Yeah, you've got this funny thing where you're obsessed with Castlevania, but you won't play any other Metroidvanias. It's very, I've never understood that.
I've played other Metroidvanias, but Hollow Knight just doesn't really appeal to me. I don't know. I don't know what it is about it.
I enjoyed it more, like the quick playthrough that I did have. It feels really good to play. Like the game feels really good, and the sound design's really really cool too. Like I really like how when you get hit, it kind of muffles the sound for a few seconds.
Yeah,
and it sounds really cool with headphones. It's so immersive. It's fun. I still think the game hobbles the map on purpose, which I'm not sure how I feel about really. Because it's relying on you memorizing the map, which I think is quite a lot to ask of someone in a Metroidvania, because they just have intentionally strolling maze-like maps. Did I say strolling? Sprawling maze-like
yeah,
maps.
that's fine. Don't worry about it. We got it.
But yeah, it's just I'm not sure how I feel about that, and that's like the big gimmick, if you like, that they use to try and make that game different from all the other Metroidvanias out there. The millions of indie Metroidvanias.
I would never remember the whole map of a Metroidvania game. Like Dawn of Sorrow.
I mean, that's different though. You've played that so many times, and I guess with Hollow Knight there will be people who can memorize it like that, but it's just weird to have to do it at the start of the game. It's quite hard. Like you can see the map, but for example, this is the thing that put me off the game the first time I played it. As soon as I realized this was the case, you've got like 3 slots in your armor for like abilities.
Yeah, okay.
And you can like swap them out, and there's certain ones that'll make you better at fighting and things like that. But one of them shows you where you are on the map. It just shows you where you are on the map, and that takes up a slot, which just seems insane to me. So you will have to take that out sometimes, and then you can just get lost, and it's weird. I think that's I don't know how I feel about that. I can see why people would like that. I just don't think it's for me.
I don't know. I've watched Hollow Knight a few times and been like, it's something about it just doesn't appeal to me. And like a lot of people praise this game a ton, which is why I'm like, maybe I just need to try it, but I don't know.
I don't think watching it's going to do it justice, to be fair, because it is a game that's very much about how it feels, and it does feel really good. Like the fighting feels really good because the controls are really responsive and really tight. You're not going to really get that from watching it, so I don't know. Plenty of Metroidvanias out there already, though, isn't there? That's the thing. There's so many of them. I couldn't really recommend one over another because they're all so similar.
There's not a lot of
there's a lot of
really bad ones out there as well. So,
or just ones that are just okay and don't do enough to stand out.
Yeah, or they're all just very standard.
Yeah, like Guacamelee comes to mind. It's just like, and I know it's there, and I know people enjoy it, but I'm like, do enough to really stand out to me.
I mean, people praised that a lot when it was out. Was it the golden version, or they had a different version of Guacamelee that came out? It was like
I think there was a souped-up edition, and there's a sequel as well now, I think.
Yeah, everyone used to praise the souped-up version a lot, I remember. And I don't know. I feel like it was praised as much as Hollow Knight at the time.
I wouldn't go that far. Hollow Knight's, oh god, there's certain parts of the internet that are absolutely obsessed with Hollow Knight and say it's one of the best games of all time.
Yeah, it's not.
I don't think anyone says about Guacamelee.
Yeah, I don't think anyone says that much, but it definitely was like highly praised when it first came out, from what I remember.
Yeah.
Just not to the extent.
To stand out.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of other Metroidvania games, but you also have to blend.
Well, yeah, they do. One that I can think of, which got a re-release a few years ago, was Shadow Complex, which was originally an Xbox Live Arcade game back on the 360 that me and Ziff really liked. We tried to get you to play it, but you were like, "Oh no, I don't want to play it," because you've got this weird thing where you're not that interested in any Metroidvania that's not Dawn of Sorrow. It's just not.
I don't know. Listen, I wasn't into it.
That was really good at the time, but I don't want to play that now. because I feel like it's not going to be anywhere near as good as the other Metroidvanias. As mediocre as things like Guacamelee might be, I think we've come a long way since Shadow Complex. It's probably just going to feel really simplistic and really old-fashioned now, because the market wasn't anywhere near as saturated when that came out, so I didn't really have anywhere near as much to compete with.
Yeah, like I'm trying to remember what I saw of Shadow Complex. I remember it reminded me of like if you took like Metal Gear and Castlevania and mashed it together. I could be wrong. Am I thinking of the right thing?
Yeah. I mean, there are mechs in it, and then certain parts of the world do kind of remind you of Metal Gear. I can see that. It's very much now that I'm thinking back on it. It's very much just Super Metroid. Like you just go into an underground complex and steal bits of equipment to build a like high-tech armor suit over time, and that's how you get your abilities. You add bits onto this like sci-fi armor set that you've got. It's basically Super Metroid. Looking back at it now, Super Metroid with a kind of grey, sleek sci-fi skin on it.
Yeah, like I don't mind Metroid games. Like I played a few of them, and like I just don't enjoy them as much as like Metroidvania games. Like Castlevania.
Yeah, they're not as good as Castlevania. The movement's not as good as Castlevania, which I think is a big part of it. Castlevania feels really good to play.
I don't know. There's something just very, very smooth about Castlevania for me.
Well, the Symphony of the Night ones anyway, not the classic ones.
Yeah, no, not the classic ones. The classic ones definitely have their issues. But, they're also like...
I mean, it's all built into the design, isn't it, though?
Yeah, that's part of the design. But yeah, they still make the weapons feel weighty and stuff in the Metroidvania games as well, which I like.
Yeah,
and again, I think...
me off guard, though.
Yeah, I think like the Souls games are like the 3D equivalent to it, which is why I'm into Souls games, I think. Because
I can definitely see that.
Like I said, Bloodborne it's the 3D Castlevania we always wanted. And
I think that's fair.
And I played Bloodborne again recently, like not too long ago, which was fun. Played a little bit of that. Did I mention playing that when that happened? I don't remember how long ago that was now. Time just flies by at this point. But no, Bloodborne still feels really good.
What month it is, really don't.
Yeah, Bloodborne feels really good to play. I would really love to see, I don't know, some sort of crossover between Souls and Castlevania. It'd be really cool. But I don't think we ever will. We got that Code Vein game, which is like that, but that's like an anime sort of weird Souls game.
I mean, the Souls games are basically just what Castlevania Lords of Shadow wanted to be anyway, isn't it? So
yeah. Well, I feel like Lords of Shadow was trying to go for more like the God of War sort of spectacle fighter sort of thing. That's kind of what it was going for.
I really don't know what Lords of Shadow. I don't think it knew what it wanted to be, because it did have bits of that. It had bits of like God of War and bits of Devil May Cry and a little bit of Shadow of the Colossus, and they were just throwing everything into the mix, weren't they? It was a weird
the Shadow
game.
of the Colossus? There was a boss that was kind of like Shadow. There was one boss in the game that was kind of like Shadow of the Colossus, if I remember.
Yeah, but that's what I mean. No, like every level felt like they had took an inspiration from a different game, and there was one level that felt like a Shadow of the Colossus one, and it just felt really unfocused to me, that game.
Yeah, I mean, it looked like they were trying. It looked like they were developing a cool story, but it just never really panned out. Because they had who were you playing? What Belmont were you in that game?
Well, I have no idea, mate. I don't follow the Castlevania lore. It's stupidly convoluted.
Yeah, I don't know if you were a Belmont. Were you? I'm trying to think. I don't, because I only played it a little bit, but I know by the end of it you end up becoming Dracula, and that's what.
Naturally.
Yeah, and that's what the second game, Lords of Shadow game, was all about. You as Dracula.
That actually sounds badass. I'm more interested in the second one now. You play as Gabriel Belmont.
Gabriel, there we go. So he becomes Dracula by the end of the game, and you end. So I believe how the game ends is, it ends in some old abandoned clock tower, and it's like present day. And you find that out because one of the guys who, I think it's like, I don't know, there's another guy in here who's like, there's a lot going on with Satan and hell and stuff in that as well. And he like throws him out the window because he's like all old and decrepit because he's not really moved from that chair from like the clock tower. He throws him out the window and it's modern day, and that's like the tease for the next game. But I've not played the second one.
It's kind of a cool ending. I'm good for that.
Yeah, it had some cool stuff, but I think he becomes Dracula in the DLC, which is the odd part of it. Yeah.
Especially when it's crucial to the sequel.
Yeah, so I'm trying to remember what happens, but I think he goes into a castle that has vampires in it. Surprise, surprise. And, you know, he gets bit or something. Something happens. Or he goes to hell. He goes to hell at one point as well. There's a lot happens in that game.
Sounds like madness. I didn't even... Oh, yeah, I didn't play enough of it to get even close to that. I think I played like 4 levels of it, and I was like, that's more than enough.
Yeah. That's fair enough. It had an interesting concept. It just didn't execute very well, unfortunately.
No, not really.
Still love to see a Castlevania Souls game. That's one day I'll see that.
I miss Castlevania, man.
Yeah. But yeah, anything else you've been playing then? We spent a good chunk on Castlevania there.
I think, yeah, we dragged that out. That was good. I don't think I have been playing anything else, honestly. A little bit more Link's Awakening, but I've already spoken on that. Don't have anything else to add. And a little bit of Valorant before we started today.
Well, I played a little bit of Valorant. It was Valorant's fun. It's just, I don't know, I enjoy Valorant. It's a very casual CSGO. I just wish they had more maps and stuff.
I feel like I can just drop into it, but then at the same time it feels like a serious game. It's like the perfect mix for me. I like it.
Because, I mean, if you play CSGO now, it's like everyone is insane at the game. Everyone's been playing for years. Everyone knows every map. And if you mess up, it's like, what are you doing? You know? Valorant, no one knows what they're doing. They all just run in. And everyone's running in circles, trying to shoot each other and missing. It's great.
I like it. It's sloppy. It's more fun that way to me.
Yeah. I mean, hopefully they'll invest in a big esports scene for it. I've seen a lot of teams coming together for it. I've seen a lot on Twitter about teams forming, so I assume it's Riot, so there's going to be a big esports scene. But, you know, I don't know how the esports scene is going right now with everything going on in the world. It's like, it's going to be hard to host big tournaments, isn't it?
Yeah, I suppose so. That's true.
Yeah, true. I think I saw the LCS, which is Riot's big league tournament. It's called the Worlds event, I think, was supposed to be in China, Beijing, this year. So I think they've moved that to next year, which is kind of weird. Or they're gonna do the tournament and then they're gonna have the arena for Worlds next year there. So I know it's wild. Yeah, that's not what we've been playing this week.
Weird world we live in. And we've.
How did we get here?
I don't even understand how I've not played more because I don't know what I've done with my week. I really don't.
Yeah.
I know what you've been doing. You've been making arcade videos. Arcade video, actually singular.
Well, I actually made 3 this last few days.
Ooh, fancy pants.
Yeah, a couple went out on the channel. And then I left the competition one to the last minute and was like, you know what? I'm just going to meme this up a little bit. And I think it came out pretty well. I think it's probably not going to get a placing, but hey, you know?
I mean, I like it. I like it.
I thought it was just... I just like the little silly throwing explosions in there, you know? Gotta get some explosions in. Fun. Put a cigarette on them. It's all good. I also changed my hair to white at the end of the video, but it didn't really look like that in the video.
Oh.
I don't know if you noticed that detail.
I can't say I did, not gonna lie.
But yeah, at the very end, you know, it all goes red and then my hair's white, and then that's it. And then I die. And that's the video.
Finn. No one even knows what we're talking about because it's an unlisted YouTube video.
Well, I mean, it's just for a competition. I don't really want to make it like a public one because no one needs that in the subscriptions box.
Just a
To be
shit
honest.
post.
That's all it was, let's be honest. Oh, Tef. Oh, you froze up. Speak to me, Tef.
Yeah, sorry, lost you for a sec there.
Okay, we're fine.
Hello?
Hello, welcome back. But yeah, that's all that post was. They wanted me in the competition. I entered the competition. I don't see the problem.
I mean, it's worth a go. Why not?
Yeah, who knows? If I somehow end up being one of the entries that get put in, I'm going to be surprised. But then, everyone go vote for it. Because if it wins, that'd be even funnier.
Oh, that'd be the funniest thing ever.
Should put like some Doritos and a Mountain Dew in my hand as I was going down the stairs as well. That would have
Sealed the deal there.
Yeah, would have got
That's
it
what
right
you're
there.
missing. You're not going to win without that now.
Unfortunately not, but hey, it's the way it goes. But yeah, other than that, I'm trying to think what else I've been playing. Crusader Kings. I played a lot more Crusader Kings.
Crusader Kings you played that last night, didn't you?
Yeah, it's a lot of fun. Just having a real good time playing Crusader Kings and looking forward to the sequel now. Unfortunately, my character died last stream. I lived to 80.
That's a damn good life for medieval times.
Ziffer died 3 times before I died.
Did you start a cult?
I did start a cult. Yeah. That's why I lived to 80. I had like 10 dead children because I absorbed the life force.
Incredible.
Yeah, it's. I like this. I like the silly elements of that game. That's what it needs. I just want more silly supernatural elements to the game. There's also like a fountain of youth that I discovered in one of the great works, but you need like the mystic trait to build it. So I'm gonna build the fountain of youth when I get the chance, and then that will keep me immortal. That's the plan.
He plays one person forever. Oh, have a millionaires, but then none of them ever get to be king.
Oh yes,
that is the best thing about that game, though. It's I just love the emerging gameplay. I will happily just turn it on and just watch and see what happens.
Yeah,
it's the best part of it.
It's one of those things where it just like builds a story and you just watch along and be like, "Yep, this is what's happening." Oh, my character just died of, I don't know, Cthulhu took me in the middle of the night. I mean, Cthulhu is in the game. You can summon Cthulhu. And
I know. It's so wild.
You can sacrifice yourself to Cthulhu, or you can decide, what have I done? I'm pretty sure the thing is like, what have I done? And then you click it, and then you ram Cthulhu with a boat and kill him. Good stuff.
Sounds great.
Yeah. Other than that, Arcade, Crusader Kings, Valorant. Is there nothing else I've played? I'm trying to think. I don't really play a lot, do I?
I guess not, no. God, I am hyped for Crusader Kings 3 now, though. I've just quickly looked it up to see what sort of things are in it. And it looks like a lot of the DLC stuff is in by default now, which is very nice.
That is very good.
You can play as a Viking in the vanilla game, and a Caliph, which I think was also in that was DLC as well, wasn't
it? I will be playing a Viking once more. Vikings
are really fun.
They are so much fun, just raiding and pillaging and
having 25 concubines.
25 concubines. Having a horse as a concubine. Good times. But yeah.
Hyped.
I don't know when that's coming out. I mean, Ziff probably knows a lot more. He could talk about Paradox games all day. That's his thing. It's his specialty.
That definitely is. That'll be his mastermind topic.
Yeah. Mine is Castlevania and Arcade.
Mine's Vice City.
Yeah, probably more Castlevania for me than Arcade.
Genuinely, yeah.
Yeah. There's more to talk about with Castlevania.
That lore, man, it runs deep.
Deep. Goes real deep, and then we can talk about the Netflix show. Let me tell you about the Netflix show.
Oh my god, I've not seen that. Is it good?
Yeah, the Netflix show is actually really good. It's we got like Trevor Belmont, you got Alucard's in it. There's some random woman who I don't believe is in the games, but she's a companion in it. Is she in the games? Car just went past. You know, there's so much going on.
Busy day.
Yeah. But no, I'd highly recommend the Netflix series. It's really good. It's very well animated. It's very nice and dark and gritty, you know? Good. And then it's got some... You've also got Hector, but not Belmont. You've got Hector. He's one of the characters. What game was he? Was he Curse of... Get the name. He was in one of the games, though. He was like one of Dracula's generals. Who, you know, goes against him.
Out over this.
I'm just saying I can talk about Castlevania, and Hector does not have a good time in that series, I'll tell you that.
I should give it a go. Maybe it'll actually make me care about the lore, because I kind of just skip through all that when I'm playing Castlevania, to be honest. I just want to get back to slicing Frankenstein's monster in half.
I mean, yeah, it might make you care about the lore, and then, yeah, so I'd recommend watching that on Mr. Robot. Yeah, I'm just gonna slip that in there. No. Like, someone needs to watch.
I'm just gonna avoid that on principle.
Someone needs to watch Mr. Robot. It's good. Please, anyone. Genuinely.
So,
yeah. Okay. I don't think there's anything else. I'm trying to think. I've just rambled on about Castlevania more.
That's great.
But yeah, I guess that's it for what we've been playing this week anyway. Because I've not played a lot. I need to play more games. Oh, we played Jack as well, but you know, we finished Jack.
Yeah, we finished Jack. Yeah,
it was a fun experience. Can't wait for Jack 2. Oh. Jack 2 will be good. That can only go well.
It's gonna be a nightmare. You aren't ready for that game.
Like, I'm ready.
You think you are.
Oh, I'm ready.
Because you don't really remember it. You think you're ready. You're gonna regret wanting to play this game.
Such a fun game. Can't wait
really
for Dark.
It's one of those games where it's great, but it's also agonizing at the same time. Do you know what I mean? Like it's like the old Final Fantasies where they're horrible to play now because they're so outdated and they're so grindy.
Which ones we
can't help
old?
yourself.
By old, what are we talking?
Like PS1 or earlier, where they get like
come on, FF6, FF7. I'd play those again.
Yeah, okay, Final Fantasy VII, perfect example. It sucks you in. It's a really, really good game, but at the same time, my God, is some of that game awful. But you can't help but power through because it's so good that it doesn't. The bad parts don't matter. And Jack's one of those games.
Jack will be a great time. We'll enjoy every second of it. Don't you worry.
It's a hell of a lot longer than Jack 1 as well. Hell of a lot longer.
It is
that game's really short.
I think that's why it appealed to me so much as a kid, because it was such a big game. It's like, whoa. You know, it was like such a big step. It's like, wow, this is great. I get to be evil Jack.
Yeah, it did feel like a big step forward at the time.
Yeah.
Definitely. And Haven City's a cool location. I think I'd still know it like the back of my hand. It's the same way I know the world from the first game, like the back of my hand.
I don't know if I'd know Haven City like the back of my hand. I'm trying to remember. I say this, but I probably will end up remembering it when we play. I'll be like, oh yeah, this is over here.
Yeah, I think you probably will.
I do this again. Like Angel of Darkness, somehow I remembered most of that game. I was like, how? What, did I play this game? I wish there was more Tomb Raider games for us to play for as well. You know? More old, classic Tomb Raiders.
I know, it's only the first reboot. It's the only ones we could really play now, isn't it? Like Legend, Anniversary, and Underworld.
Underworld, yeah. That's, maybe one day. Well, that's fine.
Maybe.
But yeah, should we move on to the news?
I think we should.
There's nothing else we've really got to talk about. So, in the news this week, we have, well, first of all, a little update to Crash. We have a Crash mobile game on the way, a mobile endless runner. Oh boy.
Trendy.
Well, Crash doesn't have microtransactions, guys. But I'm sure the runner will, the mobile game will, don't you worry.
Oh, it will. It will. It's just so funny. Like, I get where they're coming from. Crash suits an endless runner.
It does
really well.
very much, yeah.
But they're like 7 years late to this trend. What are they doing? It's so late.
I don't know. Like, it's just I feel like is it coming? It's coming out before Crash 4, isn't it? Does it say?
Uh, I really don't know. I'll just quickly scan. I don't think it says.
It'll probably come out before. It's gonna be like marketing for Crash.
Probably, yeah. I
I
mean,
think that's
yeah.
it's intended to just be marketing, and then to also milk a little bit more money out of people over on the mobile
Oh yeah.
market.
Well, this is Activision, isn't it? Now that they've realised that they can make money on Crash, Crash will get milked and milked and milked until they can't milk it anymore, and then they'll kill it for a decade, and then they'll bring it back, and the cycle will continue.
As is the way.
Mm.
Yeah. So get ready for more Crash racing games. They're gonna be on the way. I'm trying to think what other Crash. Are we gonna get another Crash Party game? I'd be down
Oh
for
man,
one of
Crash
those.
Bash was so good.
Crash Bash was a really fun game. Couldn't remember the name of it for a moment. That's a really fun game. I remember there was like one where you were on like you were on like ice out in the ocean somewhere. You had to knock and it
Yes.
tilt. You had to knock each other off and stuff.
That was really fun. That game mode was the best one. I think there was only like 4 or 5 game modes in that. I think.
I think there might
No,
have
that's
been.
wrong. Apparently
Yeah,
there's
there's more.
28 different mini games,
Yeah.
but I really and it says
There's a tank
28
one as well,
minigames,
isn't there?
3.
There's what?
I don't really remember. It's been a long time since I've played it. Really.
You know what? We should do that on stream one day. Crash
we
Bash.
should.
I'm sure we can get that working somehow, right?
Yeah.
That'd actually be a really good idea for us. That'd be fun.
Yeah, we could do that. No problem. That would be really funny.
I'm trying to remember what other game modes Crash Bash had. I'd like to see another Crash Bash game. Make that happen, you know? Get this mobile game. Give me some Crash Bash. But yeah, I guess there's not really much to say on this, but it's another mobile game.
Yeah, it's just funny, really.
It is.
Yeah, I think
just amusing following the story of, hey, no microtransactions, but hey, we got this sweet mobile game coming your way. Make sure to download that.
It's an endless runner. Why? Like, they are so late to that craze. It's just... When did Temple Run come out? Hang on. I'm going to look this up.
Oh god, it would have been like 7 years ago? 8 years ago?
2011.
Okay, never mind, 9 years.
So they're slightly late to this craze.
Just a little. It'll still make money. You throw anything on mobile, it's just like free money. Though Nintendo...
it definitely will.
There was a story about Nintendo pulling out of mobile games the other week, so... Doesn't work for everyone. Or I guess Nintendo just, didn't enjoy being part of the market. It's not really Nintendo's thing.
It was always an experiment for Nintendo. They made it quite clear that that they were just trialing it and that they might not stick with it. And it doesn't really work with their ethos, because they're like the only big publisher these days that actually has any sense of ethics. So
surprisingly,
they do actually milk their they milk the hell out of those mobile games. To be fair,
yeah, they do.
It's as long as they're doing it on mobile, where that's kind of what people want, because mobile games are weird, then that's fine. Just don't bring microtransactions into my Switch games. Thank you.
I think that's just what mobile gamers want needs to be changed. Let's be honest.
Yeah, they've only just been conditioned that way, haven't they? Because they've never known any different.
So I think, I don't know, just, whenever really terrible business practices like that come out, we just need to, like, complain about it on Twitter, just like everyone else does. And eventually, they'll change their ways. That's how that works, right?
I guess. I don't know if you've seen Apple Arcade. I don't know how much you know about that, but that's like the only thing out there that's trying to change mobile gaming and make it a bit more, a bit less greedy, really.
I've not really seen much about that. What's going on with that?
So it's a subscription service, kind of like Xbox Game Pass. And it's for the Apple App Store, and you pay a fee and you get access to all these games that are exclusive to Apple Arcade. You can't get them on the App Store normally; they're only in Apple Arcade, and there's no microtransactions in them because you're already paying a fee to access them. So there's no microtransactions at all, and Apple has been paying developers giving them like incentives to make games for Apple Arcade. So the idea is you can pay these subscriptions and you'll get good core microtransaction free mobile games. And there's some really interesting like experimental indie titles on there because people feel like they can experiment
That's
and they
cool.
don't have to monetize. So some
Yeah.
really interesting things on there. And like there's games like Monument Valley and stuff like that, which where it is all about the gameplay and there's no microtransactions. It's really cool, actually. It's really, really cool. And it's the only way you can get games like that on mobile.
Yeah, I mean, that does sound really cool. I think a issue with the mobile market as well is like the demographic that you pull in for that, because it's not core gamers, I think.
Yeah.
Which is the big thing. So a lot of people that would be very against these business practices aren't really playing the mobile games anyway. There's definitely some, but there isn't as much crossover. So it's I don't know. I don't know how we go about it, but that does seem like a really good start. Having a different model and then trying to pull a bunch of games under that banner.
Yeah, it's definitely a good start. I know Apple Arcade, a lot of them can work on Mac as well, so there's some slightly more complex games coming to it. The sequel to Beneath the Steel Sky, which is a really old like adventure game by the guys who made Broken Sword. Yeah, it was a point and click. There was a sequel to that recently.
I think I saw
Beyond
that.
the Steel Sky. Yeah. At the moment, it's out at the moment, but it's got timed exclusivity with Apple Arcade, so you can only play it on Apple Arcade at the moment. It will come to PC and I think consoles later down the line. But at the moment, that's the only way to play it. Which is just mad. That's an actual core game for old school retro point and click fans that you can only get on mobiles at the moment.
Yeah, that's crazy. I mean, I don't know how I feel about the exclusivity stuff, but I don't know, it's nice to see stuff from that genre. I feel like I haven't seen a game like that in a while. Other than actually, there was that indie game that I played. There's a few.
Point and clicks have made a comeback.
They have, yeah. A lot of indie games have done point and clicks.
Yeah, and a lot of the old writers have come back as well, because you have things like Thimbleweed Park and like Double Fine games as well. So
that's true. There was the Double Fine games. I forgot about the Double Fine games. That had a really weird ending, didn't it, or something? I can't remember.
You mean, is it Broken Age? You mean?
Broken Age,
Never played Broken Age because apparently it was a bit of a disappointment.
Yeah, if I recall, it was a bit of a like. I think I watched the whole of Broken Age just because I was interested. It was okay. I remember it had Jack Black in it. Oh, I remember that much.
No, you're thinking of Brutal Legend, I think.
No, I'm pretty sure Jack Black was in
Oh, really? I don't know anything about Broken Age, to be fair.
I'm pretty sure he was like a man in the clouds or something. But yeah. Brutal Legend. I know what Brutal Legend is. That's not a point and click.
No. That game doesn't know what it is. It changes genre every 5 minutes.
Yeah, it's an interesting game. But yeah. Speaking of publishers that are actually doing some really good stuff, Capcom have been discussing their sales, and 80% of it are digital now. So that's a big number. I think it's a really interesting topic to talk about, because I think for the longest time, brick and mortar stores have certainly been struggling. There's been a lot that closed down, and then, I mean, the business practices they have are terrible. Like, they're doing whatever they can to, stay around, stay relevant.
Yeah. I mean, they're all just signing exclusivity deals, aren't they, to get exclusive console types or special editions of games and stuff like that now. It's the only way they can stay afloat.
Yeah. They've got a lot going on, and I don't know how long before. I mean, we're always going to have brick and mortar stores, I think, but I think there's going to be a lot less in the future. I think this has always been a thing that's been coming. They'll all eventually go to be in. I don't know. Maybe they'll be more like. I don't think. Maybe more like. You can't see any, like, what's going to happen to Game in the future, and all GameStop and stuff.
Yeah, I think they'll probably just get reduced down to city centre stores, and you won't
Yeah.
have any out in the suburbs. That's how that's gonna go, I imagine. I do think they'll stay open. I think you're right. I think there's always going to be a place for them. They're just not going to be. It's not going to be a big place for them. They're probably just going to stay in the cities.
Yeah, I think it's a little sad though at the same time because I do like having physical copies for some stuff. But
Yeah,
I
I do definitely.
you know, it's nice to have like a collection.
Yeah,
But at the same
I
time,
really like having a physical collection, just in
mm,
general with anything or any of my hobbies. So
but yeah, I think at the same time it's really cool to see 80% digital sales. I mean, also we could. I don't know when exactly the numbers are taken from, but certainly this year I can imagine more people going digital.
mm. Those figures are covering the period April 2019 to March 2020.
Okay, yeah.
Mm.
I thought it was 2019 somewhere, so it's actually like not even this year has really affected that much. It's probably had a boost, but
Yeah,
yeah,
I mean, end of March 2020, so we had about 2 weeks of Corona in that period, really. So that's mostly without the help of the virus, to be fair.
yeah. So I don't know. It's super interesting.
Mm.
I mean, going all digital was a big thing a few years back, but that never really panned out. We remember the was it Xbox tried to have
Oh
their
God,
digital
yeah.
only.
Well, they
Xbox
did not
One.
handle that well, though.
No, I did
Mm.
not go. Well, so it was this generation was they wanted it to be digital only. They were pushing for that. I think mostly because publishers they want to cut out these the like brick and mortar stores. They don't want these because
Mm.
they take a lot of the profit, and then you've got used games as well.
Yeah, that's what concerns me. Is games are going to get more expensive if we go entirely digital. I don't. We won't even
They
get
shouldn't though.
deals as good. No, they shouldn't, but they will,
Yeah.
because we won't be able to get second-hand games. And physical games do deteriorate in value over time. Even if they're new, you'll find them for cheaper. Like Link's Awakening, I got for hell of a lot cheaper, like £15 cheaper than if I'd gotten it digitally, because
Mm.
that game's kind of the physical version's gone down in price because it's harder for Nintendo to control that. But on their shop, it's gonna stay at the top price and never go down. And that does
Yeah.
concern me. If we go entirely digital, then there's only gonna be one way to buy a game. There's going to be one store where you can buy a game, especially now. Like on consoles, that's always been the case. There's one shop, but
Mm.
it's even happening on PC now. And now with all these publishers retreating back into their own stores and moving away from Steam, there's going to be one place where you can get a game, and I
Yeah.
think prices are going to go up because of that. There's not going to be no competition, so we're at the whims of their pricing and their sales, which probably won't be as good as they used to be because they won't need to be as good as they used to be.
Yeah. I don't see us getting to a point just yet where we're gonna have games that all games be exclusively digital. I think there might be some games that end up just going exclusively digital. I think that might be a thing we see. Because I mean,
Mm.
Sony has pushed it with this generation as well because they have the normal version of the PS5 and the digital version, don't they? That they
Yes, that's
showed
right.
off.
Yeah, yeah.
So they're
One doesn't have a
definitely
disk
still
drive. Yeah.
they're definitely still trying to push for it. They're just trying to be a little less, clumsy with it this time round.
Yeah, it was not handled well at all by Microsoft.
No, it was a
You can't
PR
just force it on
disaster.
people.
But yeah, I mean, I think there'll definitely be places that provide, but I don't know, it'd be a shame to see physical copies completely go. And
Mm.
it does concern me that that if everything goes digital, the prices should go down. That's how that should work. They don't need to package them. They don't need any of that. But like, if it doesn't, that's gonna be, and it's probably not. Like, we don't trust publishers to be
No.
like, oh no, we don't need to package these. Okay, we'll sell them for a lower price now, guys. Here you go.
No, they won't do that because they're struggling to make money on games as it is, or they say
Yeah,
they are. I don't really believe that, honestly. I've got a bit of a tinfoil hat about all that,
I
but they
think.
say that they're not. So,
I mean, with
well,
crunch and everything going on, I feel like most of these devs are just very poorly managed. I think
yeah,
that's the issue.
definitely. Yeah, I think they'll just take the extra margins that they get from cutting out the packaging and all the middlemen involved. They'll just take that and put that into development, hopefully, which I'd rather have, to be fair.
Hmm.
And if it stops prices from going up, because that's what they're saying, isn't it? If they can't figure out a decent way to monetize
Yeah,
games, then prices are just going to go up.
that
So
might be a good
if
way.
digital sales stops that,
Might be a good way of dealing with that, because I think they're not going to put the prices down because everyone has the expectation of the, the $60 game, the 50, everyone has that expectation. So if they put the prices up, people are gonna be outraged. But if they cut out the middleman and they don't have to put the prices up, they don't have to package games, then it'll all be good.
I'll have to see.
Yeah,
I feel like it could be good for consumers. It could be bad. It's kind of could go either way.
it could go either way. It's interesting to see that on Capcom of all people. It's interesting to see their numbers, because Capcom have been killing it lately.
Absolutely.
Like there was just a period where Capcom were doing, like they were doing a bunch of bad stuff, and then they did nothing for a while, and then they came out with all these amazing games. It was like, oh, it's like they brought back Mega Man. They hit us with the Devil May Cry 5. They're like, hey, Resident Evil, remember Resident Evil? It's back. Here you go. And it's like, oh, Capcom, please.
Oh god, I love Resi so much.
Yeah. Devil May Cry.
Resi got him.
Devil May Cry 5 as well. Oh, like Devil May Cry and like Resident Evil have just been like, oh, they've made me so happy. They've been good times. But yeah, I think that's all we can really say on that, because it's an interesting discussion, and there's definitely a lot to think about with digital sales and the potential future. But next, let's talk about Sony and what Sony have been up to, because they have invested a very large sum in Epic Games, so they now have like a minority stake in the company, which is interesting. Interesting.
Yeah, this is it.
Like, I'm trying to think what the angle for this is.
Well, the PC Gamer article that you sent to me theorizes that it's in order to get better access to Unreal Engine, which I think is that makes a lot of sense. Going forward with the new generation and all that, if they can work closely with Unreal Engine and get Unreal Engine to work really well with PS5 hardware, that would be brilliant. So I guess that makes sense.
Yeah, it'd be interesting to see what this is. Go on, what were you gonna say? I'll let you.
I don't know. Carry on. Sorry.
Yeah, it's just hard to theorize on where this could lead. Like, it could lead to some Epic Games being exclusive. They could have more of a say in that, which is going to be interesting. I don't know how we'll see, because maybe we'll see some Sony properties come on over to the Epic Games Store as well. Could see.
Essentially, I didn't even think of that.
Yeah, it could work vice versa as well. They get better access to the Unreal Engine. Maybe Sony, is like, hey, you know what? These have one of our games. Go throw them on your platform. But I don't know. Is it? Go on.
There are just so many angles, because Epic has so much going on. It does make you wonder, doesn't it? And because in a way, they're kind of two separate companies. There's a game developer there, and there's an engine developer. So I wonder which part of it they're
and
more
they're also
interested
publishing.
in. Yeah, of course.
So there is a lot to look at there, and I wouldn't even know where to start. Like,
I just can't wait to see what happens next with that.
Yeah, it's going to be an interesting story to follow. Nothing might even come from it. Who knows?
Well, yeah, who knows? Exactly. But then I wonder if this could also be Sony's way of getting into the PC market, because I mean they're bringing Horizon Zero Dawn to PC.
Yeah, that's why I was saying maybe the Epic Games Store, like maybe.
Yeah, I mean that would make sense with Microsoft pushing Xbox games onto PC now. Maybe this is Sony's retaliation.
Yeah,
and they're gonna do it through the Epic Games Store. Who knows?
Because I mean, Microsoft have a very easy way of bringing their games over to PC. Sony don't really have a foot in the door as much, so this might be their
Although
way.
if they end up using the Epic Game Store, that's they're already winning over Microsoft because no one wants to use the Microsoft Store. Just no one.
Bro, a lot of people hate the Epic Game Store as well, though. There's some people who despise Epic.
Yeah. Oh yeah, definitely. But it's still more popular than the Microsoft Store. I've never heard anyone say a positive thing about the Microsoft Store. So,
I've never used the Microsoft Store.
well, no, it's not on your operating system, your unsupported operating system. So,
Epic Game Store is, though. Winning me over Sony. But yeah, we're coming up on the hour mark now. If you want to go take a quick break in between news stories, and then
I
we
could do
can
with a coffee.
hop back in because we do have a lot coming up, especially at Ubisoft. So that's gonna be fun. So stay tuned, and we will be right back in 10 minutes or so. Don't go anywhere. All right, welcome back. We're back on. Welcome everyone. We're now getting on to the last few news segments of the day. We do have quite a bit to talk about, though. There's going to be some big Ubisoft news coming up, but before we get to that, there's also some really big news for Warner Bros. Interactive, which you may know for a lot of the Lego games. Also Arkham games, right? They were involved.
Arkham,
Yeah. So they went up for sale. I believe the arrangement is in a way where AT&T will still receive they'll still receive revenue from the IPs, from what I understand.
Yeah, so they're selling the studios, and I guess, whoever takes them, what they decide to do with those studios is up to them. But if they do want to continue with the IPs, they'll have to pay some sort of licensing agreements to AT&T to keep them going. So it depends on what they want to do with the companies, I suppose. A lot of companies just get bought out and chopped up these days, so there's no guarantee that any of these famous series will keep going.
Yeah, I mean, we'll see what happens. I mean, they're pretty big series, though, so there's been a lot of interest. I know we've had, like, EA were looking into it. There was also Activision Blizzard were looking at it a lot. So
I'll take two.
Yeah, Take-Two. So we're probably going to see them get picked up. They're probably going to land safely in some other publishers' hands. But what happens with the IPs, I don't know. We'll probably see them. It's a bit of a weird arrangement, though. So I don't know.
Yeah. I think it depends on who you buy as well, I guess, or what you want to do with the studios, because it's rights for things like Batman and Harry Potter that AT&T have, I think, because they have the rights to make games on those series. But I suppose Mortal Kombat is probably gonna come along with NetherRealm, I imagine. And like Fifth Cell, I know they make Scribblenauts. It's probably Fifth Cell who own the rights to Scribblenauts. Well, I mean, you never know. It's you never know these days.
Yeah.
You could be the publisher, but the article says that it's more rights for things like Batman and Harry Potter. Really,
that's what it was really pointing out. But I mean, we'll see. It's gonna be an interesting one because there's a lot of people looking at it, and hopefully the devs all land okay. They'll all be good. They're all very talented, so I'm sure they'll end up getting picked up. But the question is, who's gonna pick them up, and what do they plan to do with them? That's all we can really.
God, I just hope someone nice picks them up. It's not looking too good at the minute with Activision and EA.
Yeah, Bobby Kotick's got his eyes on them. It's like, ooh.
Can you imagine if EA or Activision picked up the Lego games? You'd be paying for different minifigures. You'd be paying like $5.99 for different minifigures instead of just unlocking them.
You have to pay to build the vehicle.
Oh, it's a fate worse than death.
Each Lego block costs $1.
Every time you go to knock someone out in Arkham, you have to wait 5 hours or pay a nominal $3.99 fee to speed it up.
It's okay. You know what? They'll probably end up just send them off, make some mobile games for us.
Yeah, that's true, actually.
I mean,
I'm surprised the Lego series hasn't gone mobile already, really.
Does it not have any games on mobile? It must do, surely.
Probably does. It probably has ports.
Yeah. I was talking, like, this would have been a good one to have Ziff on, because Ziff was talking a lot about the LEGO games the other night. So, would have been interested to get his input on it. He's apparently pretty into the series, the LEGO series.
Where is he when you need him, man? I just played LEGO Star Wars, and that was about it.
Yeah, I just played the original LEGO Star Wars and the second LEGO Star Wars.
Yeah.
I don't really think I played... There was one on PSP I played that was Star Wars as well, but I don't know if I played any of the other ones.
I think I played Lego Batman 1, which is okay. But, I mean, we were the right age when they first started coming out. When you get older, they're a bit dull. So, very simplistic.
But no, it's going to be an interesting one. We'll see who ends up swiping them up, or if they don't get swiped up. I mean, they definitely aren't going to get, because everyone's looking at them right now.
Yeah, someone's going to take them on.
Yeah. And yeah, we'll see what happens to the IPs. Hopefully they continue, because I know there's a lot of people that are really into them, and they're good IPs as well that haven't really... I mean, has Harry Potter had a good game in a while?
No. They just make mobile games for Harry Potter now. Actually, there was like an RPG that was on mobile for Harry Potter, which had a lot of potential and just turned out to be okay. That's all I can think of in terms of recent Harry Potter games.
Yeah, I feel like that's an IP that you could do some really good stuff with if you wanted to. But
definitely.
Not that I'm like the biggest Harry Potter fan. I'm like,
there's definitely a lot of potential though.
Yeah, there's a lot of potential though.
Okay.
Especially if they've got the whole new they're not Harry Potter movies, but the new ones. What are they called?
Fantastic Beasts.
That was one. I've watched both of the movies. I just don't remember anything about them.
Yeah, they're a bit dull. It ain't the same.
No, it's Harry Potter's a weird one. I kind of grew up alongside it.
I mean, I really enjoyed it growing up. I'm not too fussed about it now.
Yeah, now being grown up, I'm like, I feel like towards the end of the films, I'd grown up to the point where I was just like, I don't really care about these films anymore.
Yeah, I can understand that. I think I read them as they came out, and I think I was at the exact right age where the books got kind of grittier as they went on, and I was growing up at the right... I was at the right time for that to make sense for me, but the films came a bit later, and the films are alright. I don't have that attachment I used to have, definitely. It's gone.
Yeah, I don't know if... Did I ever have an attachment? I just remember really liking the Chamber of Secrets game, and then the Philosopher's Stone one on Game Boy.
Oh, the early games were really good.
Yeah.
Especially licensed games. They were really, really good.
We don't get a ton of like really good movie licensed games either, which...
I don't really make them anymore, do they?
No.
It's kind of
I'm trying to think what else we've had. Been like a movie game. What was the last one? Oh, Tef?
I don't think it's been a thing. Hello?
Oh, you're back.
Hello?
Never mind. You just froze in a very funny face.
My thinking face. I was like...
it was not the thinking face.
I don't think we've had any this generation. Oh, okay. Never mind then.
Yeah, it's fine. But yeah, have we had any? We must have had one or two, surely.
I don't know. They tend to actually put time and effort into tie-in games now, which I massively appreciate, because now we've got a good Spider-Man game.
Yeah. Like we had the Spider-Man game was like, it's not a movie game, but it's a good tie-in. So we had that. Yeah. And then we're going to be seeing another one of... Well, it's like an expansion, not an expansion. Yeah. Standalone expansion.
Expand-alone.
Expand-alone, that's the one. They were really bad at marketing that.
Yeah, that was so unclear.
Yeah. Oh, well. But yeah, let's move on to the next topic, because this one is a little different to everything else, but it's...
Continuing our coverage of Mixer.
Mixer, yeah. So Ninja decided to stream on YouTube one day.
Smug face, because you predicted it.
I mean, I did predict it. I also predicted Shroud would go back to Twitch, but then everything happened, and I'm like, I don't know what Shroud's gonna do now, and Shroud's done nothing. He's just been chilling. But yeah, it's interesting because he's went over and he's not taken an exclusivity deal as far as we're aware just yet. So he's just been on there streaming for fun for one day.
Yeah, I got the impression that he just felt like that was the place to go. But it is interesting that he kind of just went, I want to stream, and the first place that came to mind was YouTube and not Twitch. That's
Well, I
really
mean,
interesting.
Do you know the story of what happened when Ninja came off Twitch?
Nope. Oh, was there some beef?
It was a bit of bad blood, to say the least. So,
oh, fair enough then. Okay.
When he came off Twitch, immediately, I think they changed the channel page. You could no longer subscribe, or I don't think they refunded subscribers. That's not a thing they did. They did that with Dr. Disrespect, which there's been nothing on. But I believe they just let everyone's subs run out, and then they were hosting other streamers in the Fortnite category on his channel. That's what they were doing. They used it as like a portal for other Fortnite streamers. So for a good half an hour or so, someone in the Fortnite category was streaming something they shouldn't. Something little kids probably shouldn't see.
Oh god.
Oh, my headphones just died. That's very good. That means I can't hear you right now. Perfect. Carry the show for me for a moment, Tef.
Yeah, so you're absolutely terrible at games, aren't you? Yeah. So the next news topic is how awful Zan is at Valorant, because when we played before, he got no kills across any of the games we played because he's a bad man and he's bad at video games. And in fact, he's just bad at breathing and bad at living. Like, oh, you're back. Hello, can you hear me? Hi.
Hello. I came back to bad at breathing and living life, and that's all I got out of that. Are you talking about me?
No. I was talking about how good you are at Valorant.
I'm gonna shake my head for a few seconds of silence. Yeah, where was I?
You were talking about the beef with Ninja and Twitch.
Yeah, so something was streamed there that children probably shouldn't say. It's someone decided to go on over to the old hub and stream something from there on Twitch.
Oh dear.
And yeah, that was on Ninja's channel for like 30 minutes as well before it was taken down. So there's not a lot of obviously it's there's bad blood there, but if they were offering him money, they'd probably go over. But at the same time, they're probably lowballing him right now because Mix is gone. It's like, okay, you want to come back? They're not going to give him a big deal for it.
Yeah, they're obviously bitter about it. So
yeah,
I don't think they're going to give him a fair deal.
They don't need to offer him really because they are the dominant platform when it comes to live streaming, and the other big competitor is gone now. But
I suppose. But YouTube's catching up big time.
Oh yeah, Mixer was never really a in the race, to be honest. They were at 2% when they shut down of the market share. Compared to YouTube.
Ninja and Shroud just carrying the whole platform.
Pretty much. There were a lot of small streamers that didn't get views on Twitch that went over to Mixer that were like, I'll get views over here, guys. Not how that works, unfortunately. But yeah,
it's less people to watch you in general, so
yeah, it's an interesting thing because I don't think we'll see a lot of exclusivity contracts get thrown around as much. I think we'll definitely see them because I don't think YouTube's doing them anymore. There was something about YouTube not really wanting to buy out anyone, but they very well might offer Ninja or Shroud a little bit of money. I don't think they need to offer them anything big. But yeah, I don't know what we'll see happen. I think Ninja might end up just staying on YouTube. Because he's probably just getting a feel for things right now.
Yeah, it makes sense. That's the platform that makes the most sense for him at the moment, to be fair. And yeah, I can't imagine he'd want to take up another exclusivity deal, considering the last one. I know he made a ton of money off it, to be fair.
Yeah, he got lucky on that one.
But yeah, he did actually, but it was a gamble, and it could have just as easily gone wrong for him there. So
yeah, at this point, it's I've made my money. Let's go build my brand up again a bit more. To be fair.
Yeah, that's it.
I think Ninja is also one of those people that sort of he outgrew Twitch because he was on TV, he was all over the place. He was in, and Twitch is it's very small compared to like YouTube, and like how many people know about Twitch compared to YouTube? It's like, oh, YouTube, I know YouTube, and then like Twitch. Try and explain Twitch to a boomer, as they say.
It's very much a hobbyist place, isn't it? Definitely.
Mm.
You're never going to appeal to anyone who's outside of the gaming world, really.
Though Twitch have been trying very hard to do that for years now. But that whole IRL category, they've put like arts and music and crafts stuff in there to try and get more people to do stream. But I feel like they've just, I don't know, they've stagnated over the last few years in terms of growth, but I don't think they'll ever grow as fast as they were prior. But yeah, I don't know. We'll see what happens with that. It's an interesting thing to look at, and then of course Shroud's not done anything.
That's funny. I guess. I mean, might have something in the works. Might just be taking a bit of time. Who knows? Might be signing another deal for all we know. Could be in the middle of writing up or signing off a contract.
Could be either that, or he's just chilling. He's just like, I got 10 mil. I'm just gonna lie back.
Money at the moment.
I'm just gonna go sleep for a few years. I'll be back. But yeah, I don't know. It was just a very interesting story. Any final thoughts?
I think we are at a tipping point. I think this is like an important moment. It's interesting to watch because it really does feel like the balance could tip at any moment right now. Even though it's not really a part of gaming that I follow, it's just interesting to see how things are gonna change, because I do feel like the status quo is about to change, and I'm not 100% certain how it's gonna happen. It's probably gonna end up with YouTube being a major competitor, but I just like watching it unfold, you know.
Just like I predicted all along.
I'm not sure it'll take over Twitch, but I think it might end up being like a major competitor. We might end up in a 50-50 sort of situation.
I mean, we'll see. There's still like the whole Dr. Disrespect thing disappearing from the platform as well. I think that's definitely gonna have a big effect, especially whatever comes out of that one day, whenever that is. So we've not heard anything. Because if that, it could end up looking really bad for Twitch in the end. Who knows?
I wonder if we'll ever find out what happened.
I reckon a month from now. Maybe a little longer.
Give it a month.
Give it a month. Give it a month or two. We'll hear something. I mean, there's no way, because it's like something that's been under wraps for. Like, people have got to know. There's got to be more people that know, and eventually it's going to slip. Like, I've never. I think the most fascinating thing is there's never been some sort of secret that's been this, like, tight-lipped on the platform.
Yeah.
Just why
it's mad that even he doesn't know what's going on.
I feel like he must though. Like, surely he's got an idea of what's going on.
Oh, yeah, I'm sure. Well, I think he can probably guess. I think we can all probably guess what's really going on, or at least have a couple of decent theories on what's going on. But I'm not sure he knows for certain. I think they're keeping it even from him for some reason. Probably because he strikes me as the kind of guy who would just tell everyone if he knew.
He's not actually that type of guy. Typically.
I don't think he'd be able to keep a secret NDA, but I don't think they could do that in this situation.
Yeah, he's not actually the type of guy that does that. So last time he got banned, I mean, everyone kind of knew why he got banned. It was very obvious, but he just took like a 2-week break and said, "I'll see you in 2 weeks," and so on. And then 2 weeks later, at some point, there was a picture of him on vacation or something like that. But yeah, it's interesting. But yeah, we'll see what happens to the stream, and I don't know, market share. It's going to be all over the place. The industry in general is going to be shaken up quite a bit. It just fascinates me because I'm obviously quite heavily involved in it. You know, I've got quite a stake in it. But yeah,
are we moving over to YouTube then, Sam? What's that happening?
I'm already on the transition making those videos. Eventually, I'll get more views on you. Well, I probably already get more views. I get more views on YouTube than my Twitch anyway. But you know, eventually we'll get to the point where I'm just like, "Hey guys, I'm on YouTube now," and then no one will bat an eye.
No one will even notice you're gone.
That's the plan. But yeah, I think now we can move on to what's going to be the biggest news story of the week. Talk a little bit about Ubisoft. There's a lot to talk about with Ubisoft this week. And
this is interesting, isn't it? Because I think before we start talking about this, we should think back to last week when I think we all said that we didn't think Ubisoft were actually going to follow through with their promise to change things. We thought it was just PR fluff. And yet,
here we are.
Yeah.
We have 3 of the big execs stepping down with probably a very nice severance package, let's be honest. But they're stepping down.
Oh, yes.
I honestly see them just getting cycled to another company and, they'll just continue. But among the allegations, we've had 3 people step down, which... what are the names? Hold on. Let me look at these.
Yeah, we're probably going to butcher these names.
Actually, can't even see the names on my list now. They've disappeared. There we go. We've got... the big guy who's gone is Sergei Heskut.
Oh. Yeah, Chief Creative Officer.
Yeah. He was the guy who, gave the go-ahead on what Ubisoft games have become today. The Ubisoft open world game is because of this guy, for better or worse. You like Radio Towers again?
Oh God, just don't. It's so overdone. Even outside of the influence he's had on the industry, it's more, to me, what's more interesting is just the sheer amount of power this guy had within the company. Because this was the guy who decided what games got made and what games didn't. He signed off on what would get made. That's probably the biggest it's definitely the biggest creative role you can have in the company. So if he's not untouchable, then I don't think anyone is.
No, it's gonna be interesting to see what happens to Ubisoft games now, because they're gonna have a different creative force behind them now. Definitely, we're gonna see some changes. Probably, it'd probably be a good thing. I don't know, but we'll see.
I'm not convinced it'll change the games. I don't know about that.
We'll see what gets we'll see what gets signed off on and what doesn't, and we might see more stuff. We might see less. I don't know. I don't know what's gonna happen with that, because obviously what we know is Ubisoft games today is this is the guy who was like, "Yep, this is what we want." So I mean, I don't know. I feel like if there's someone else, a different head behind that, they might decide to go a different route.
Yeah, no, it's definitely a good point. 100%. I hadn't even thought of it from that angle, but you're right. It might actually change Ubisoft games. And thank God, because I have no problem with Ubisoft style games. They are fun.
But for the same thing,
can get a bit grandy, but yeah, every single game being the same game with a different theme is just awful. They need to fix that.
Yeah. But we had 2 more people step down as well. There was I don't know. There was head of HR, I believe. Was it Cecile Connet? Was that one of them?
Yeah. Head of HR. So that's interesting because she was head of HR, and it was the HR department that were getting the most flack when the Ubisoft allegations started coming out on Twitter. A lot of people were saying that the HR
seems like a
department
very obvious person to oust from the company, because
definitely. I don't want to say whether it's that guy or because I can't check. I can't see any proof of this. I can't check. I can't remember if it was him specifically or not. But there were stories of people in HR basically refusing to give women promotions or jobs in some cases unless they'd go on dates. and things like that, and it was just all really, really creepy.
Yeah.
So that's obviously the statements that they're trying to make by getting rid of the head of HR.
Yeah, I think yeah, that's just an obvious person to get rid of. And then there was also Yanis Smollett, something like that. Who I don't know what his role was.
Managing director of Ubisoft's Canada studio.
Okay. There we go. So it's an interesting shake-up in the company.
Definitely. It shows that they are
it is good, yeah.
more serious about this than we all thought they were going to be, definitely. And you're right, they'll probably get golden handshakes, but if they're out of the way, then hopefully it will improve the
they'll have their golden parachutes. They'll land in a different company and be just fine, I'm sure, but you know.
Well, they can go to the top of one of the radio towers and scout out the nearest company to run to.
And maybe Konami's got some openings, you know. Send them one over.
Make a few pachinko machines.
Yeah, but it's a very interesting time for the shakeup as well, considering all the games they just announced. They decided to still go forward with the UB Forward announcements, which was just the other day, and we got to see some interesting stuff in there as well. If we want to switch gears.
Yeah. I think as a sort of transition, I think it's worth mentioning that they added a disclaimer to the start of Ubisoft Forward, didn't they?
Yeah, they did. That's true.
Because it was all pre-recorded, so it had people in it who've since been let go. So they put a little disclaimer at the start to apologise for that.
It's an interesting move that they did there. Yeah.
I guess they didn't have a choice, did they? Had to acknowledge it. They couldn't have brought it out with those faces in and not acknowledged it.
I feel like they could have just re-edited it and been like, okay, we'll push this back. You know, maybe this is not the time to do this. I don't know.
Yeah, true. Very true.
I think that would have been a better approach, but sure, I guess. But you didn't watch the conference yourself, did you? But it was pretty well put together. It was very fast paced. You know, it was good. It was quick fire. Let's get into this, get into that, and we saw some mobile games on there as well. But the big ones that we saw were. Should we talk about mobile games? No, but the big ones we saw were like Far Cry 6 was one of the big ones, which, hey, guess what? Gus Fring's in it, guys.
Hey.
He's the bad guy. Remember him from Breaking Bad? He's in this. He's the bad guy. Yeah, that's right. We didn't see any gameplay for this, really, but we did get a cinematic trailer of Gus Fring, who, that's how I will know him. And he's some sort of dictator. He has a son who he's teaching.
You know how it is.
Yeah, he has a son that he's teaching to be a dictator. He's like, hey, here's a grenade. This is how a grenade works. Puts it in his hands, and then goes, and this is the pin, and then pulls the pin. He's like, but don't worry, as long as if you hold it tightly, it won't explode. And then he uses that as an analogy for him holding the country or whatever, holding the people. So as long as you keep an iron grip on them, it won't explode. And that's basically what that trailer is. It looks a lot more urban, as we were saying.
It does, yeah, definitely.
So, I don't know. That could just be the trailer. That could just be like one city in this world, and it might have just a lot of open areas. It's gonna be interesting. I've not played a Far Cry since 3.
Yeah, I haven't played one since 4, which was just 3.5 anyway.
Yeah, it was just 4, except the bad guy was
less
typical.
Interesting.
Yeah. He had a pink coat. I remember that.
He did.
Pink jacket.
It's just 8. Yeah, he was. It wasn't great. It was pretty dull. Yeah, I'm interested. The writing seems to be really, really interesting, and definitely in that trailer. But then Far Cry does this. Far Cry tends to have like a really
compelling
cool villain.
Yeah,
and then the rest of it's just met. So we'll have to see.
Hey, let's go to this camp. Let's kill everyone in this camp. You can either do it stealthily or shoot them all. There you go. All right, move on to the next camp.
Great game. It's just been the same for 10 years now.
Hey, look, a radio tower. Gotta go climb that.
Gotta go skin that animal.
Yeah. Hopefully they switch it up a little bit. I know I didn't play Far Cry 5, but I heard they switched up some stuff in there. You know, I don't know what,
No.
because I just wasn't that interested. I've not really been interested in Ubisoft games in a long time because they're all the same. That's my big issue. But
Yeah.
I don't know. We'll see how Far Cry 6 turns out. There's not really a lot to say on it other than it's got Gus Fring in it, doesn't it? That's good.
See, again, we needed Ziff here again because me and you aren't really interested in Ubisoft games, but he still plays them. So he should have been here for this. We need him here.
To be fair, he
we're both of the opinion.
He thought his son was his daughter in that trailer, so
yeah, maybe he's not too well informed actually.
I did see that and be like, what do you mean? I looked at the trailer and was like, I don't know where he pulled that from.
No idea.
But yeah, the one that I think Ziff would have been able to talk about a lot was Assassin's Creed Valhalla, which, I mean, the person behind Valhalla's, I mean, a lot of, again, this is going to affect Ubisoft a lot. So it's interesting to say, I mean, these games are mostly done. That's at this point. So I think direction-wise, they'll all be fine.
Yeah.
But Assassin's Creed Valhalla is the new Assassin's Creed game. You play a Viking and not an assassin. But don't worry, you're a Viking with a hidden blade. So he is an assassin.
It's not been an assassination game for ages now anyway. There's no stealth anymore. There's not been any stealth since they rebooted it with Origins. So
see, I've not played one since 3. So I'm like,
really?
That's how far behind I am.
Wow. I mean, there's like the stealth mechanics are still there, but there's like no reason to actually use them anymore.
Heavy now, isn't it?
Yeah. It's just an action RPG now, which is fine, I guess. We had more than enough of the old school Assassin's Creed games anyway, so I'm glad they mixed it up. But it's a grind. Like I really liked Origins. I didn't play Odyssey because it was just like more of the same. I really liked some parts of Origins, but my god, the grind! I just wanted to get through the story because that was where all the most interesting missions were. But it like level gated missions, so you'd have to go away and do the boring side quests for 5 levels and then come back.
Yeah, that doesn't seem that interesting to me. I mean, I guess I should try one of the new ones. I mean, I wanted to play Black Flag at one point. I was like, Black Flag apparently is really good. I should probably play that. They've had ships in all their games since Black Flag, haven't they? At this point, they're like, gotta have a ship in there. Except actually, there's a few that don't, I believe.
I mean, it's not quite on the same level as it was in Black Flag, though. I mean, you can get in little boats, and sometimes there's like ship segments, but Black Flag's the only one where the ship is a major part of it. And Rogue, I think, has it, but Rogue came out at the same time as Black Flag.
Rogue, isn't Rogue like... Weren't they on different generations of console? I'm trying to remember.
Yeah, they were. So they came out at the same time. Rogue came out for 7th gen on Black Flag for 8th.
Yeah, so... This one's actually going to have some ships in it because you're a Viking, so you're on a Viking ship. I noticed, and you have your crew of Vikings, and you go around and raid and pillage, as far as I'm aware, to get resources to bring back to build your settlement. So there's a settlement building aspect to it. So it's interesting. But yeah, the cinematic trailer for it was, if I remember, there was like a war. And, you know, it's like, oh no, the Viking man's gonna die. Oh wait, he's got a hidden blade. He's actually an assassin.
Oh.
But
I'm interested in this one.
Yeah, it looks interesting. Maybe I'll jump back into Assassin's Creed with this one, because none of the stories are connected anymore, are they?
Oh, no.
They've not been like that for a while.
There is still a modern day aspect to it, but it's so loose now it really doesn't matter.
Oh, is there actually still a modern... I didn't know there was a modern day aspect to it anymore. I thought they cut that out completely.
No, it's still there, but it's got very little to do with the original story now anyway. It's more that it's in Origins and Odyssey, it just had a couple of characters in it who were very loosely attached to Abstergo, but it was more about the characters themselves than any kind of overarching plot line, so...
Yeah, I think they just need to drop them on this. No one cares at this point.
Yeah, no one ever cared. I can't believe they still got them.
I mean, they had like Desmond, and like some people cared about Desmond, I guess, until he dies. I mean, he like steps into some light and dies or something. What happened? What happened to Desmond? Some weird
I can't really
storyline, wasn't
remember
there?
now. I
Yeah,
really can't even remember. I never played 3, so.
yeah, I think he's like steps into a light or something and then dies. It's like, oh no, he's dead. Rip Desmond. No one cares. Anyway, yeah, I'm interested in this. It looks kind of cool. You know, you get to be a Viking. Vikings are cool, and you get to like you bring your like band around and you just pillage places, and they'll fight alongside you and stuff, which is interesting. And then you know, of course, there's also the stealth element because those Anglo-Saxons, they don't like you being over here, so you gotta lift up your hood when you're going into settlements. So that's all they really showed off with that. It looks like it'll be interesting. Looks like it could be some good fun. And then another one that I'm actually surprisingly interested in is Watch Dogs Legion. So it might surprise you that I'm actually interested in this in a way, but it had a very cool trailer for it that was shown off, but they did show some gameplay as well, but they had like a really cool trailer for it. It's like there's like this, so I think the storyline is there's this military force that has been employed, or private military force that's been employed to handle the like rebellion in the city or whatever. And you know, obviously they're holding it with an iron grip and the bad guys, so you have to, you know, rage against the machine and all that stuff.
Of course.
And the system for how this game works is there's no one protagonist.
Yes, I've heard about this actually, yeah.
Which is what fascinates me. So apparently you can go up to like anyone and recruit them to the rebellion. Or what do you call it, a rebellion? What's another word for it? Rebellion's fine. But
Resistance, I guess.
Resistance is a good word. I like resistance better. But you can like recruit them for the resistance, and then you can play that character. And you play for the story as that character, or you can then switch character and play as someone else. And depending on who you pick, like you can actually be you can recruit one of the private military force, so you can then get inside their bases as that person. And then I think there's a hitman that you can recruit as well. They showed off. There was a pimp. There's a lot of weird stuff that I'm like, I like the idea that you could just be anyone.
Yeah, it does sound really cool, definitely.
Yeah.
I'm interested in that too. I picked up Watch Dogs 2 today because it's free at the moment.
Yeah, I need to do that.
Yeah, I've never played Watch Dogs, but I've always watched it closely because it does have some really interesting ideas, and I love the thought of hacking into people and the way you can like hack into people's cars and cause them to drive into other cars and things like that. It all sounds so cool, like a good sandbox. I'm just watching a trailer now, and I've just seen a nan punch someone in the face and tase them.
That's a thing. You can play as an old woman.
It looks really interesting. They definitely do push boundaries with Watch Dogs. I think Watch Dogs is probably, weirdly, it's probably the Ubisoft game that does push the most boundaries, because it's definitely still an Ubisoft game, but it has the strongest gimmick, if you like. It's always trying to do something fresh with its gameplay. So
yeah, like Watch Dogs 1 was like, it was very tame, very kind of dull. And then 2, they kind of, from what I saw, they kind of spiced it up a little bit. You know, it got a bit more silly.
Yeah,
And now we have Watch Dogs Legion, which is just like play an old woman and punch people. Which, hey, I'm all about it. Play an old woman that gets to hack people's cars and punch people. But
yeah, the sandbox just seems really cool, doesn't it? It's got to be definitely the best part of the whole game.
Yeah, Watch Dogs 1, it was like, it looked interesting, but I wasn't really into it. Watch Dogs 2, I was like, okay, this does look interesting, but eh. And then Legion, I'm like, okay, you know what, I might actually play this. They've convinced me. After 3 games, I'm in. But it looks like it's doing the thing that Saints Row did, kind of, where it just progressively got more and more wacky. And I'm hoping they keep doing that, just getting more wacky. Like, the next game, have it set in space. Let's go.
Also, it's set in the UK, which is nice, because that doesn't
Yeah, it's in London, I believe.
Yeah. So we're getting Valhalla and we're getting Watch Dogs in the UK.
They've got a big fascination with England.
Hey, what time?
Yeah. I mean, to be fair, they had another game set in London for Assassin's Creed, didn't they? Which one was that? What was it called? Ooh,
Syndicate. Yeah, Syndicate was really
Syndicate.
good.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, it was good for what it was.
I saw advertisements for that on like big banners in London when I was down there once. I was like, haha, that's set in London. That's the story. There you go. But yeah,
yeah.
other than that, there was Hyperscape. You know, the big battle royale was also shown off a little bit.
No one cares.
I mean, it looks like it's taken everything that other battle royale's done and refined it, but I don't care. I don't want to play a battle royale. I'm done. Okay, I'm done, guys. No more. You know what?
None of them have ever really interested me. The concept really interests me, but when I look at all of the games, I'm always just like, this isn't doing it for me. I'm not sure what I want from a battle royale, but it ain't this.
Yeah, like old PUBG, back early PUBG had me hooked, and then eventually just fell off with it, and then I played like a season of Fortnite just to understand, and also because there was a John Wick skin at the very end of the battle pass, and I was like, well, you got me. So
yeah, I missed the boat on PUBG, and I'm sad about that because I think that is what I want from a battle royale. I want it to be kind of more serious, like military sim style thing where it's
more like
a
Armor.
soldier trying to survive. Yeah, definitely. And now everyone's trying to either rip off Fortnite or they're trying to make a large scale Overwatch, and I don't want that. It's not what I want.
The thing is, a lot of battle royale players actually don't like the slow pace. So a lot of what they've been trying to do is speed it up and be like, you're always fighting someone, so you can just drop in. You're immediately fighting someone. You die. You can get back in. Like, the Blackout. What's the Call of Duty one called? It's Blackout, I think.
Warzone.
That's it. I think Blackout was one of the Call of Duty games. I think that also had a battle royale. But Warzone has the, like, if you die, you go to the not the oubliette, the what's it called? I don't know. You're in like a prison or something. Forgot the name. But you're in there, and then you gotta do a 1v1 with some other player that's died to get back in. It's got stuff like that, and then you can drop back in, and then you can also revive teammates or buy them back in by earning money.
Yeah, I don't want that.
Yeah.
I'm glad that's a thing. I can see why people would want that, but yeah, it's just the more slow-paced style of it that interests me.
Yeah. Like, I don't know. I feel like I wouldn't mind Warzone if I played it, but I can't get into it. I don't know. I'd have to actually care. And have people that actually cared with me. I think Escape from Tarkov is the style of game you'd probably want more. So Escape from Tarkov is pretty cool.
Yeah, I've never really looked at that. I know vaguely of it, like.
But... Yeah, but I wanted to get into Escape from Tarkov a few years back, but no one wanted to, so I just never ended up picking it up. But yeah, there's not much to say about Hyperscape. It's a battle royale. Futuristic. Oh, it's fun and colourful. It looks like it'll be a good battle royale. Whether they've missed the boat on battle royales or not, we'll see. We'll see how well it does. That's probably the most interesting thing about it. But yeah, that is about it on the Ubisoft conference. They showed off a few mobile games, but who cares? They showed off Siege, Rainbow Six Siege, and was like, "Thank you for playing our game. It still exists. Please go play it." So, Rainbow Six Siege is actually really good, because when that came out on launch, it was kind of meh, wasn't it? From what I remember, but they've improved upon that game a lot.
I have never ever played a Rainbow Six game.
Oh, yeah. Well, Rainbow Six Siege is kind of like a more. It is kind of more like a game like Valorant or CS:GO.
Yeah. No, I know what it's like. It's very tactical, team based, isn't it? I probably would like it. I've never given it a go.
I think I can't remember I've played some Rainbow Six games, but I don't really remember them. They all blend together. But yeah,
I think that's part of the problem. They don't do enough to stand out, really.
But yeah, I mean, it was a well put together conference, for what they had. I think that's why they didn't want to re-edit it. They were just like, let's not put enough work editing this together. You're putting it out.
Yeah, fair enough. And it's not didn't seem to cause too much of a
no
fuss, really. Like they admitted, straight up that. Yeah, so it's fine. Who cares? They're handling it well, so you shouldn't really give them
surprisingly, they're handling it well, which, I don't know, just didn't expect them to do. I think we just have this idea that they're just not going to care. But again, they are getting golden parachutes, probably guaranteed. But, it is what it is. At least they ousted them. But yeah, that is it for the news then, I guess. I'm trying to think if there's anything else we've missed.
I don't think so.
Yeah, I mean...
unless you want to discuss Flight Sim 2020, but I've got nothing to say about it.
I like flying planes, and I can do them in a simulator in 2020. Very cool.
Hey.
All right.
Crash into my own house. That's all anyone wants to do on those games anyway.
All right. So, yeah, I think that's it for the show today then. We're coming up on the 2-hour mark anyway, so we managed to stretch it. But yeah, thanks for watching, everyone. Tef, where can they find you?
I am on Twitter as Teffers. Drop that in the chat. Go have a goose gander. I actually wrote another Medium article recently, and it's pinned on there, so you can go have a look at that. It's about The Last of Us, because everyone's talking about that at the minute. Go have a look if you want.
Yeah, you can go disagree with them.
Yeah, go disagree. Go get angry with me. Send me angry DMs on Twitter. Have fun.
Leave a lot of angry comments to increase his engagement on the tweets.
Yes. Very important that you do that.
Or on the article to get up the revenue the article generates.
I'll make 70 pence. No, 70 US cents. Sorry, so about 55 pence per article. So raking in the cash.
It's more than my YouTube makes.
Oof.
It's not wrong, but yeah.
Nice.
Well, I assume you all know me because you're on my channel. But if you don't, Zanrise on Twitch, Zanrise on YouTube, Zan Games on Twitter, and the real Zanrise on Instagram. Yeah, so that is it for today. We made it to the 9th episode. We're gonna make double digits. We're actually gonna make it.
Oh boy.
We've not been cancelled yet.
Still got time.
There is still time. But yeah, that'll be it for today. Thanks for watching, everyone. Thanks for joining us and discussing along. And we'll be back next week with another podcast talking about gaming. Because that's what we do here. We talk about gaming news.
Oh, yes. Oh, yes. Yes.
All right. Au revoir, everyone.
Yes, please give me that sweet gaming news.
And we'll see you next week. Bye-bye.